Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. People from very different countries worldwide is watching our podcast. My name is Tatiana Cole, and this is podcast Happy at Work. In our podcast, we are discussing different important topics: people-centered organization, employee happiness, corporate culture. And today, we will discuss one of my favorite topics: employees as ambassadors. And here we do it with our guest, Francine Beleyi from UK. Francine, good afternoon for you because I know what you are from London now.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Sofiana. Good afternoon and good morning for you, I think. It is.
Yeah, correctly. Uh, Francine, my first questions to all my guests, I asked to tell a little bit about yourself and about your professional way. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Totally. Thank you so much. So I'm Francine Beleyi. I pronounce that in a French way because I'm also French. So I help actually purpose-driven business leaders. They can be CEO, professionals, or entrepreneurs to really grow their revenue, their visibility faster through the power of personal branding, and now also employees with what we're going to talk about today as employee ambassador. I'm also an author of the book called Personal Branding in the Digital Age that you can see here. It's how to become an expert, thrive, and make a difference in a connected world. And I'm also a host of podcasts like you. And my podcast is called Meaningful Work, Meaningful Life Podcast. And I'm also a speaker. So I speak globally on stage, across the world, in French and in English as well. So yeah, so in brief, this is who I am, and I'm sure that we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well as we go through the conversation.
Mm. President, we decided to discuss today the employees and ambassadors and how to build their personal brands for strengthening the corporate personal brands. And my first question for you, why do you think always has become a trend about the company engage the employees in all levels, from the CEO, from top managers to the ordinary employees, to work as companies ambassadors? Why do you think
Mm,
it's important in the current world?
mm. There are a lot of reasons why this is becoming a big, this is a trend that has started many years ago, I think the beginning of 2000. However, the trend is very much accelerating. Why? Because I think there are a lot of different reasons, at least three, four, five reasons actually why that's the case. First of all, we have this democratization of social media. Everybody is on social media. We have like a half of the population on social media, right? That means what? That means your employees also on social media, your customer on social media, everybody is on social media. So this is one of the key factor why this is growing as well. So because a lot of people today are very savvy social media. When they want to buy something, guess what? They go on social media to ask their friends, to ask for recommendation, to read some reviews. So the COVID and the great resignation that's followed when a lot of people have resigned from their job means that people want to have much more meaning. They want to get engaged into some organization and be part of that. And another trend is that because people have now a lot of social media network themselves, so it makes sense that actually employee or employers get a new actually voice through the communication. So it's not just like a corporate faceless organization, but they get people involved, and that is going to actually give them like a ripple effect and a lot of different benefits that I'm sure that we're going to talk about. So I think yes, those are the reason why the acceleration of employee advocacy is getting on. Obviously, there are some people who are still very heavily regulated who are wary of this, but the trend is going up. And then when you see a lot of LinkedIn reports now, is that even some CMO are saying now that the health of brand is measured by the application, how employee advocacy is being rolled out in the organization. So there are really, really a lot of trends actually that make these the best thing to do right now.
Mm. Uh, I want to ask you about personal branding because we understand why a company need it. Why do you think the personal brand become important? Not only for the CEO of company, as we will discuss a little bit later, why it's important for the CEO of the company or top managers. Why do you think the personal branding become important for all people who now are working as employees in the company?
Yeah. That actually is a very, very good one because when I wrote this book, Personal Branding in Digital Age, that was the right question that I asked to myself. The first reason was actually because a lot of people, whether they are professional or entrepreneurs, when you have a business and you have a corporate or commercial brand, people do not engage with your commercial brand. They actually rather engage with people. And if you are just an employee and you forgot to build your personal brand, let's say that you are a VP of a big organization and then you move out of there and then you have to move to another job. If you have not built your personal brand, and the only thing you had is your company brand, like a VP of XYZ, when you get to another company, people don't know who you are. So therefore, who are you? You don't even know. And a lot of people also, when they were made redundant, one of the person that I've interviewed for the book was a big VP, suddenly made redundant and suddenly nothing, unless you build your personal brand deliberately, unless you build your network, unless you build your thought leadership, you put your body of work out there. You cannot, in this connected world, this is why, the
Mhm.
title, be just the most hidden kept gem in your organization and nobody knows about. You have to be visible, because when people look for somebody, I don't know about you, but when I'm looking for somebody or some people, I go online and tap the expertise or the name of that person. If you are not there online, if I can't find you, that is your missed opportunity. So there are a ton of people
Mhm.
looking for your expertise, your what you can offer. And if you don't actively produce anything, you don't have any digital content, any digital presence, and you haven't built your brand, you are not being counted in this digital world. That's how it is going. So yeah, so that, just short of reason. And also is an economic tool. Guess what? When you have built your personal brand, if they have to pick two people to come to speak, for example, at an event, they take somebody with a brand and somebody without a brand. Who do you think they're going to pick? Obviously, the person who has got a brand, who has got a book, who has got a podcast, who has got something, a platform, right? So it does also make a good sense, good economic tool, and is also economic, bargaining power. As somebody who builds your brand, you can also command higher price than somebody who hasn't. Even if you go in supermarket, guess what? You are going to buy more with a product with a brand than a
Mhm.
generic product, right? So everything that applies to a product does apply also to a personal brand in general. So you just have to make sure that you're out there and make sure that you promote who you are, what you do. And building your personal brand has nothing to do with posting selfies or being like, it is not what we are talking about here. When I mean personal brand, is about who you are, your value, your expertise, showcasing your thought leadership, and why people should come to you rather than somebody else. That's what I'm calling personal brand. Yeah.
Mhm. May I add, but now we are living in the era of a people-centric organization. And if before we said this is only business, nothing personal, so today we could say the business is really personal. We prefer to work not only the order employee, we are prefer to work with people, and personal brand help us to understand what is the people we work with. And I absolutely agree with you what all the employees should invest in their personal brand. But I want to discuss from the CEO of company, from the top managers of the companies, because I think the person number one who have to think about their personal brand. Because when we work in organization, it's very important for us who is a leader of this organization. If we are looking for this organization, if a candidate, I want to know who is the leader, what is the values
Definitely.
of this person. When we decided to discuss the employee advocacy program and pay attention the role of CEO and top managers in these programs, because one of the common mistakes, the company launch program, but not engage the C levels, the C suits, and employees doing something but look on their top managers and don't understand why they are not engaged, why they are not telling anything about the company. Why do you think a CEO and top managers should be the number one participants of an employee advocacy program?
Yeah, that's a very good question. You know what? I think that employee advocacy should be really regarded as a strategic project. You cannot just start at that. Of course, you can still test that as pilot, but the fact that you're building an employee advocacy program should be really a strategic program. Therefore, this is not an HR thing. This is not about sales thing. This is not a marketing thing. It's about the whole organization and have to involve also something that may actually touch on the culture. And obviously, the culture, well, who says touching on the culture, I mean cultural change, therefore, it's not to be a bit of a change program. And who says change program says what? It has to be coming from the top. The top need to be getting the buy-in, championing this as a program that is being taken seriously. So if this is going to be implemented in any organization, if this is just, a small level, this is not going to carry any weight. It has to be the mandate. Why are we even doing employee advocacy? Is it for the company? And if the top can't be involved in this is not going to go anywhere. So I think that the first thing is to make sure that employee advocacy program is a strategic one. And then obviously getting the C-suite, the CEO involved means that it sets the tone, and it demonstrates the commitment that this is what we are here. We give you the ability to, our voice, to share your voice, to share the company, achievement, and then to encourage the participation. It has to be also the CEO's, commitment to really give the direction and help align the program. Obviously, they are not going to be involved on a daily basis, but they have to be strategically involved and also become a role model. I've seen a lot of company now, especially tech company, where the CEO actually is the one posting a lot on LinkedIn and having a great engagement because they're at the top, and it also gives the other people at the bottom level to say, hey, our CEO is posting, so I can post as well. So that is a role modeling thing. So you cannot expect people to do something when the top is not doing that, because at the end of the day, if the CEO is not involved in spreading the company's message, whose job is it? So it has to be coming from the top level, and then obviously empowering other people at the other level to really go and also share the message as much. So yeah, so definitely has to be the CEO definitely need to get involved.
What is your opinion? How a company could help the C-suits to promote the employer brand? Because the normal comment when they propose for promoting CEO personal brands is levels personal brand to say we have a shortage of time. We don't know how to do it. They have no competency for promoting our personal brand. What is
Yes.
your opinion? How company helps the youths to become visible, to build a strong personal brand?
You're totally right. I haven't got the time is the one of the big one that comes all the time. One of the things that I like saying to people is that, Of course, time is scarce, definitely, and people are very busy. When you are embarking on this, just a small planning actually helps you to get far away. There are today a lot of tools that we can use to plan things ahead. We have also to have a clear, you know, how do you call that, calendar. So when I go through, some of the training, when we get to the content strategy aspect, we can actually determine in advance what are the key topics that we want to talk to. And then the marketing or communication department can help rewrite some of the captions that people who are very busy, like the C level, don't have to write at least at the beginning. They can use some pre-written captions and curated obviously content, especially those who are in regulated industries as well. So platform actually employer advocacy platform offer them these kind of facilities where you can have like pre-written content that has been curated in advance that you can actually start. You can start with that, starting with some pre-created content. And then after, if some people also, me, I love actually empowering people to write their own content as well, not just, posting some pre-curated content, but making sure that they have like the right training in terms of storytelling. As C-suite, you definitely need to be good at storytelling. So if you don't, training is available. You can carve a little bit of time. It can be online, it can be offline, but having some small time aside, because this is again is going to yield quite a lot of result with a small time that you can put towards this program. So all all this thing is around planning, is about having a strategic plan to execute that, and then make sure that yes, you follow on the plan that has been laid out.
When we talk about employees, not from the C levels, what companies should do for them if they want to be ambassadors? The company have a special program. How company should recruit them, what the company should pay attention, and what company have to do them for helping become more visible and more effective when we are promoting themselves, promoting the companies as a brand or companies as employer. What helps company can make and what the company have to do with employees. We discussed this now look for the employees as a part of employee advocacy program.
Yes. That's very good, actually, because yes, ultimately the employees are going to do the thing. The first thing is to make sure that there is a clear guideline. First of all, that actually, I know that some people still have some social media policies or don't even have any social media policy, but actually don't like some of their employees to post on social media. So the first thing to do is to have a clear guideline and so kind of friendly social media policy. This is not police. We call that policy, but it's not police. So it should be friendly. It should be something that people feel that is welcoming. Obviously, you tell them what they can't or can't share because, of course, there is confidentiality. There are, other people looking, but there are some things that shouldn't be posted online. But there is a lot of other things that employees can share, a lot of testimonials um, about their own experience in the company. So having some clear guideline in a document of and telling them that is those guidelines that they need to respect online is one thing. The second thing is to give them training. So you can't just say, hey, go and post this, but give them a sense of what that is. And what I always love doing when I start this employee advocacy program is to start with their own personal branding. I always go through the 7 steps that I have in my personal branding so that people start to actually determine, first of all, what is in it from them. So then they can see that, oh, wow, Once I'm going to do or be part of this employee advocacy program, not only I'm sharing and I'm helping my company to be visible, to have more brand awareness online, but I'm also building my own personal brand. But you need to be clear about that. That's not random. You need to get them to understand what they want to be known for. Therefore, picking some of the initiative inside the company that match very much towards with what they want to be known for. If you are, for example, let's say, very much interested about sustainability, and your company talks about sustainability, even if you are not part of that department, if this is your interest, this may be something that you want to be advocates for online. Therefore, knowing exactly what is going to be the brand that you yourself want to build as an employee can match very well with some of the topics that your organization want to share. So having training is very, very key. And then obviously giving them, having the content, shareable content that need to be shared, because again, this is not about broadcasting the company's message. This is about having some, very humane way of communicating about the company, and then sharing that as well online. So having all kind of content is one of the things, and then obviously teaching also people how to create their own content as well as user generated content, and we'll make sure that they have the right things that they can share. They will share their own employee testimonials, they will share their industry expertise, or even some events that they are going to, and their own thought leadership. So those are very important to make sure that it's a win-win. Employee advocacy, I know that I have this guy, Bradley Keenan from Disseminate. I don't know if you have interviewed him. I love what he says. He always talk about employee advocacy 1.0 and employee advocacy 2.0. The 1.0 is those who actually only share what the company give them as content. And the 2.0 are those people who actually use their own expertise and subject matter expertise to share much more and to build their own thought leadership. So I think that we can have a mix of both. If, first of all, they don't feel very ready, they can start with the company pre-written caption, but written in a much more humane way. And then once they start to get a little bit more confident, and then they can comment on each other's posts, then they start to actually evolve. So it can be like a gradual event, process. It doesn't have to be all in. It can be a gradual process. So then people feel, feel their way into the process as well.
I have one more question for you. When the people become ambassadors, we start to worry about what should I say in my social media and what I should not. And this is a situation with CEO of the company. What is the amount of personal content? That means about my personal values, my personal feelings, maybe something about my family, maybe something about my reaction. No, then we talk about information from the company. We understand when we talk about maybe some experts article or any professional topic, that's okay. But I think what it could be really useful from trust perspective to add something personal. And what is your advice? How to add something personal in your communication through social media when you make your personal brand with a connection with a corporate brand from a suits from an employee's perspective.
Yeah, I think that is very important, because I always love giving this distinction between personal and private. What you share is not anything private, but personal means that something that is going to connect with your audience, which actually in the pillar number 3, in my pillar number 3, which is know your audience, you know who is that audience that you are talking to. Let's say that you are a C-suite in CMO, for example. You can talk about perhaps the mentor that actually help you to become who you are, or perhaps some of the trajectory within your own school system that made you pick what you have picked today. Is about sharing your background, your values, and why this value is relevant to what you are doing. It's not about sharing something for the sake of sharing. When you're sharing something, let's say, for example, a value, let's say that freedom is your value, you have to actually look and I give like a lot of ways also. If you look in the book, there are a lot of ways, 6 different ways that you can use to actually communicate your values in a way that is personal but is not private, because you actually give some insight or to people to say, okay, this is the reason why I picked this topic, because of what happened in the past. This is how I grew up. So, and then people start to understand, oh, okay, that is very interesting. I didn't know that he grew up or she grew up in these kind of conditions. Oh, now I understand why now this value does make sense. So it's about really going back in your childhood, in your when you were going to school, your first job, how well it was or how terrible it was, and what you learned. Every time that you share something, it has to have a purpose. It has to have a teaching for people why that is important and why you are sharing that. So, and then during the storytelling training, you can learn how to weave your small values to make your content very personal, rather than this is my product, buy it. And then that is going to be your content strategy all the time. No. And then in terms of also when you say the content that people need to share in marketing aspect, we call that tofu, bofu, and mofu. That means that tofu is like top of the funnel, all the big things that you can share, like the social, let's say that you are very much interested in terms of a social development goal or a cause that you are very much interested in. That can be some of the things that you can share on the top of the funnel. In the middle of the funnel is going to be your own expertise. If you are in marketing, you'll share a little bit of tips, etc. And then some of your values as well, why you love, you are much more drawn to that, what team effort means for you. And then at the bottom of the funnel, this is where actually you kind of promote things, to promote things directly to people. So having a mix of those 3 different content will make sure that you'll be really come across as a thought leader in your field. And then you can also share, even the company can also follow those 3 kind of funnels to understand that, top, the middle, and the bottom, just talk about the industry expertise, what is going on, share some news, some trends. So yes, so I think that yes, getting people understand the difference between private and personal is really informing people about some lesson that they've learned from all different stages that they went through.
I think it's a very important, very good advice to everybody who want to build their personal brand. I have one more question for you. What are the company? What is your advice to the company? You have employees who are currently have their pages in different platforms. Some employees on LinkedIn, some of them on Facebook, some of them on Instagram, maybe anybody's young generation on TikTok. What is your advice? Should you motivate them to use this platform and try another platforms, or maybe this diversity of platforms could be better for you? What is your advice? Or you should say all employees should promote us on LinkedIn only and train them only for the LinkedIn. What is your advice?
I think actually, again, that depends back to the employee and the employer. Where's their audience? Where, depending on if you are beauty sector, for example, like L'Oreal, for example, perhaps you have an audience that is spread across all different platforms. But let's say that you are only like a financial planner, or some of a consultancy with your C-suite level only as a audience. Those make sense to just take on LinkedIn. So depending on your audience, again in the pillar number 3, know your audience, is based on where your audience congregates the most, you pick that platform as first of all. Mostly me, I speak mostly to people who are professionals, so therefore LinkedIn for me makes much more sense. However, I have also a secondary platform, which is Instagram. You can actually pick a secondary platform based on again, the audience and what is coming up, like the platform that's where they are much more going. Some people it may be TikTok if your audience is much more on TikTok, if these are the younger generation. So that is going to be, based on your audience that you're going to pick where you're going to spend most of your time. Because if you pick a platform because of the trend and then your audience is not there, that defeats the purpose. So just make sure that where your audience is and pick the platform. I know that LinkedIn is much more how do you say, is much more streamlined to track and see who is part of your employees, especially if they have a feature where you can have like a feature where you can see like the content of your employees. So that makes it easier to track. But again, if you have some of those employee advocacy platforms, I think they have like a lot of features that you can track from which platform people came from and which kind of result they gave. So yeah, so first, if where is your audience? That will be the key question to ask before picking which platform you should be spending your time on. If you are only like a teenagers, kind of brand, definitely LinkedIn may not be the right place for you to be on. Perhaps you may be spending all your time on TikTok. So yeah, so definitely know where is your audience and then pick your audience and according to that.
I want to ask you about LinkedIn, of course, because it's number one business platform now, business social network, and we met on this platform with you too. It's a great
Yeah,
example how it works.
totally.
I want to ask you if any companies, and institutes, any employees want to use LinkedIn, what is your main advices for them? How to use effectively this platform from the personal branding perspective and from the company's branding perspective. We talk about attracting and engaging your employees as advocates.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. LinkedIn again is part of some of the training that I do within the bigger employee advocacy platform. We have a whole workshop on LinkedIn. First of all, before you do anything, please, on LinkedIn, anything, you have to have an optimized profile. What does that mean? That means that you need to have a professional looking photo, not a photo with your cat or with your ex-husband, the hand, or cuddling you, or with anything. No, you have a professional photo. Make sure you have an optimized banner. Make sure you have an optimized header. Because why do you need an optimized profile? Because when you start to connect with people, before people accept you as connection, they're going to check up if this person is going to be useful for me or not. So therefore, you want to take your time, first of all, before you send any connection whatsoever, have an optimized profile, have a good headline, have a good summary, has good photo, has some, all the things that makes the profile optimized. That's the first thing. Then obviously you need to use keywords that is again targeted towards your audience. And your summary is not your CV as well, please. This is not your CV. Even if you're an employee, Don't make your summary as a CV, and because make your summary as where you want to go, who you are talking to, actually. This is it. So what can you bring as value to those people? So that is what your summary is all about. It's not what you've done in the past and bring all your diploma and all those things there. No, it's much more who you are, where you are going, who you are looking to attract. Those are the things, the 5 Ws. You know, then once you have an optimized profile, you start sending some connection. Before you send the connection, the pillar number 2 is the pillar number 3, again, I say is know your audience, is like you need to create like, you know, your persona. We call that a persona, or your avatar, saying that who is going to be the 100 people that I would like to connect best, you know, that if they are in my network, that is going to move the needle in my career or in my business. And then once you know that, you need to think about that. It's not sending random connection to people. No, be very clear, very, very deliberate who you want to attract as a network. So once you've done that, obviously you have to craft a small message to connect with those people and why you want to connect with them. Don't just send the generic kind of message and say, I want to connect, no, just go and figure out what is something new or good that the person is posting about and say, hey, I love what you have done here and I would love to connect because I just wanted to follow more of your updates. That's all. And it's much more, especially if you have got an optimized profile, people are much more likely to say yes. So make sure also that people you are connecting with are active on LinkedIn. Don't just connect with somebody who has never been there since they have created their profile back in 2015. No, just make sure. And how do you know that the person is active? You see on their feed. See if the person is one posting or commenting, engaging on people. And the other thing is that even if you, first of all, don't even have anything to create, start to engage on people's comment, post as a comment, setting meaningful comment. Don't just say like, good, great. No, that's not a comment. A comment is, I love what you have posted. In my opinion, this is how I would have done this, or add something, add some value. So, and when you start to add value on those comments, people are much more likely to come back on your profile and say, oh, this is very nice comment and nice, thoughtful comment. Let me go and check. And then they're going to also connect with you. So you can start really being interested in people rather than wanting people to be interested in you. So this is again about social. Be social on social media. That's been that goal. And engage in conversation with people on people posts, and make sure that everybody that you want to be in front of, you connect with those people first. And then the rest you can just move on. So yes, so we can talk about this for the whole day if you want.
It is a big
yes,
training. I think I could give advice to all our audience. Please write Francine through LinkedIn and ask about the full LinkedIn training and buy her books. Francine, my last question for you. I ask all my guests to give one, two, three last advices to all the people who want to become the want to build their personal brand and helps their company to strengthen their brands, or to people who want to engage the employees, the C-suites, all these topics we are discussing today. What is your 3 main advices for them?
Yeah, so my 3 advice would be, first of all, get out there. Don't think too much, because so many people say, yes, but I don't know what to say. I don't have anything interesting to say and all those things. Yes, everybody has to start somewhere. Just get out there. The second thing is kind of linked to that get out there bit, which means that everybody started at a different place. Do not please compare yourself to somebody who has been online for many years and has some following, etc. No, just pick your lane, be clear about why you are there, what you want to communicate, and just do your thing. Keep being consistent in what you are doing. And last, and one of the most important thing is reach out to also some people who have been there already. To get some advice, to get some training, to get some mentoring, because all those things has got some hidden aspect that sometimes you don't see. You don't know what you don't know, usually, as we say. So get in touch with experts and find out, more, and get some training, get some mentoring about that. So yes, so that will be my advice. And yes, get in touch on LinkedIn, definitely. I'd love to, connect.
Thank you, Francine. My recommendation to all people who will watch this video, please connect with Francine, follow her. I think you could find a lot more useful advices on her LinkedIn page and her sites, from her books, from her own podcast. I know what you have your own podcast too. And this is the end of our meeting today. This is the end of our podcast. It was podcast Happy at Work. And today with Francine Beleyi, we discussed a very important topic: personal brand, employee advocacy practice, and how engage all the employees, from any particular employee to the C-suite level, to become a part of the power which helps you to strengthen your company's brand, your corporate and employer brand. Thank you, Francine. Have a good day.
Thank you so much,
And
and have
stay
a good day.
connected.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Goodbye.